Ronald C. Capps back in the Freak Nation. And Ron, you're out there hearing us ask some of these questions of the drivers that we're going to ask you momentarily. But what the hell's the problem this year?
Oh, let's just kick it off nicely.
But listen, Ron expects that.
Yeah. I just had this conversation with somebody. I wish we had a better car to give Proc and some of these other cars a run up till now. We're getting there, and I think we're close on our tune-up. But it's been a rebuilding year for the tune-up, and Guido really needed to change a lot of things around. But you watch the success of that car, and really that's Robert Height's car. In my eyes, Austin's done a great job. He's brought a new element to that car, but that car, who in this room didn't think that car would be fighting for a championship anyway, right? I mean, that car is outstanding. It always is. You have to go through that car regardless to win any race. I don't know how many battles I've had with Proc and Robert Height throughout the years, but we just have been trying to rebuild and get to where Guido can make that next step. Get the car quicker early the first 80 feet. And we really had to revamp everything. So, yeah, it's been tough because I knew we were going to struggle a little bit. I just didn't think it would go as long, and I'm okay with it. I knew the process. I've worked on them, and I understood. I've been through it a million times working for Snake and Don Schumacher with different crew chiefs. So, yeah, it's been a little tough. I just wish at certain times that, you lose to Austin up there, and they're celebrating. You're like, man, I wish he had to run our car from last year or the year before, and we'll be back to where we were. Because you've got to put pressure on these other cars. Before you go to the starting line, they have to know that you're going to make them get a little bit outside of their box and have to push their car a little bit. And that's how we won a lot of my 70-something races in the past with Ed McCulloch, Roland Leong, obviously Ron Tobler, now Guido. The crew chiefs I've had have been ones that we've had runs like Procs have had this year, where you just go out and you dominate. So I've been on that side of it, and we'll get back there.
You're talking a little bit about not playing games with each other, but a little bit. You've got to do something. When you're in the staging lanes, we've had many drivers up here say, no, we're not as good of friends as we lead on to be. Are there things that you try to do to put added pressure on them against you coming to the line?
Driver-wise, normally no. If somebody does, then they're going to get payback. I mean, if somebody really does something up there on race day to mess to try to get your car out of the element. I mean, obviously we know that if you wait too long to stage and there's all that stuff, but really the most part, funny car drivers are pretty good. There's a couple that once in a while will, take longer to stage, or you put that in your memory bank. But car-wise, what I was referring to was just you have to be in their head before we go up. In other words, let's say first round we win, and whoever I'm running, pick anybody, Cruz Pedregon or Austin Proc. Like Charlotte last weekend's a great example. We got lane choice because we went quicker than Austin did, and for the next round we had them. And we had gone quicker the run before, and I guaranteed it pushed Jimmy to change his tune-up a little bit, knowing we could run. It was hot out. And that's what I've done for years as a driver with the crew chiefs I've had. So they go up there instead of going, I'm just going to go down the track. It's not mind games, but you have to put a little extra pressure on him and not allow a crew chief. If Guido knows that we're going to go up there and the person we're running is going to go 4 flat and that's it, he's not going to push our car. He's going to go up there and he's going to go, okay, we need to go down. And for us going down, it's going to be 390, but he's not going to push anything. So as the rounds get longer and you get into later rounds on Sunday, we're going to see those Tascas, and we're going to see the Procs, and we're going to see those cars that can run hard. I liken it to the Indy 500. If somebody goes out and lays a lap down on pole day, and you're 3 cars back, and Alex Palou is getting ready to run, and you've got all the hitters, Scott Dixon, and somebody goes out and lays one down, and they're like, oh, okay. Now the engineers go back, hey, we got to trim this out a little more. Now the driver's like, oh, shoot. Like, now it's going to be a little on the edge. So it's just pushing these other cars to make them push a little harder. And when you do that, they go up and make a small mistake, and it might be spin the tires. Last weekend, they went 402. We broke a piston at the hit of the throttle, and the car quit on me. And I watched it labor, and he had smoke and all kinds of stuff, and he went 402. And I went, are you kidding me right now? Like, of all the times that we didn't go down the track. But that's they probably got it in their brain. They didn't have lane choice, and they had to push it a little more than he would have.
Ron, you talk about this year was you knew that you were going to have struggles, but coming into this year, is it a test year? Were you hoping you were going to find the right setup, or was this a setup year for 2025?
No, it was just get better, and there's pretty much one manufacturer. Bonifanti makes most of the clutch discs out here, and clutch discs are the heart of these tune-ups. If you don't have them as a crew chief, what you want, what you're comfortable with, and what you know you can put your normal tune-up in, you're a little lost, and you've got to try other things to make up for it, and that's when cars don't run well. So we knew that would be part of the process. I'm a single-car team. I mean, people forget that. You're used to seeing us with Don Schumacher or Don Prudhomme, and even today, people think because I'm parked next to Tony Schumacher, I'm still a multi-car team. You got to remember, I left Don Schumacher's. We won the World Championship that last year, and we went as first-year team owner. We won the World Championship. That just doesn't happen very often. But I was a single-car team still. So we don't get these large amounts of clutch discs that Coletta's or John Force or all these big teams buy at one time. So we've had to kind of buy them here and there. So a lot of these little things play into it. So to answer your question, I didn't think it would take as long to get back to where we were. But we didn't want to be where we were the year before. We won 2 championships in a row, and we knew we could do that with the jump we had. We needed to get here. We need to get where Jimmy Prock and Austin are now. We're headed there, and we'll get there, but we needed to be a step or two ahead of everybody else, and sometimes you got to do that.
As a single car team, would it benefit you if you partnered up with another single car funny car team and you guys bulk ordered things together? Is that even a thing, or anything to make you guys pay less but get more?
Yeah, and we looked at that. Yes and no. Guido probably talks to Tim Wilkerson more than anybody in the pit area, and we're not like we're aligned. He got a Ford body, we got a Toyota body, but even when I was at Don Schumacher's the last year, Guido still probably, his tune-up was closer to what Timmy did, and he probably talked to Timmy in the staging lanes more than anybody else, even though I had Dickie Venables as a teammate and we had whoever else at DSR, because everybody runs things so different, and they still talk a lot, which is cool for me. I love Tim Wilkerson. I think they come from the same cloth, sort of, crew chief-wise. But, yeah, trust me, we thought about that, and ordering together and all that, it just gets a little weird.
Ron Capps, you've been in the cockpit for 3-4 decades now.
Hey.
Has your cursing got any different? What are the words that you use when you get mad at yourself, the crew, the car? You can clean them up a little bit, but we're asking drivers their favorite curse word.
Man, God. I don't know it. Yeah.
FF seems to be the most popular.
Well, they started tapping into my radio, and they did it on air the last few races, and they'd ask me in the staging lanes. Brian Loans from Fox Sports would come on, and they're talking to me before I two runs away from making a run. They did an Indy when we ran the snake car, so they're in our radio like NASCAR, so they're certainly hearing my words. I still have them, and in the car we get so jacked up, those come out very freely. In different ways, but yeah, I've had to, HR-wise, I've had to sort of be a little better as a team owner. Yeah, so I've been better at it, believe me.
So you're telling me, though, hold on, when you drove for Schumacher, when you drove for Prudhomme, they never cussed because it's not appropriate to cuss as a team owner?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is why you brought that up. Is the Netflix, the F1 stuff, is that why you brought it up? Oh.
No.
Well, you saw that with the F1 this week, right? Yeah. Gunther was a weird dude. Anybody watch the Netflix F1 show? We've all watched it, right? That Gunther has always been a weird dude, but I loved his reaction to F1 just told all their drivers no more cussing. And so the drivers are like, and they're fining them, and they're penalizing them. And Gunther, who ran Haas's F1 team, he was like, plug your ears. Okay, she's all right. Yeah, Gunther's like, what the fuck is that all about? And that's in his quote. And so they're like, But he's not in F1 anymore, but I love how they put his quote in it. So, anyhow, yeah, we let words, yeah, like Dom Perdome, yeah, when you're around those guys, it's the way real life is, and you hear words that you would never want to repeat sometimes, and we're all in the heat of the battle, and when you're driving for a guy like I had him at Indy last 2 years when we ran a special car, it was like having him as an owner again, although now I'm the owner and he's hanging out, but he still talks the same, and if somebody walked up, I'd be, and they were a church-going person, I would be like, Snake, yeah. So, yeah, it still goes on.
Hold on, I want to backtrack a little bit what you just said there. When Snake was with you at Indy, especially these last 2 years with that tribute paint scheme, does he kind of get back into his owner element, or is this dude a fan again?
He has texted me every day. He texted me about 4 times yesterday. He's watching every single move. It's got a little taste of him, especially last year. We won with the Hot Wheel car. He texted me every day for a month and a half and just told me how cool that moment was and how it might have been the coolest moment he's ever had. And I was like, what? You got to be kidding me. So and then we did it again. We thought about how can you top the Hot Wheels car? That was insane to win the race and all that. And then the Army rendering showed up, and I was like, oh, we can't not do that now. And we surprised Snake, and he was hanging out, him and Richard Tharp and Billy Meyer. They're all hanging in my pit area like the old days. And it was, for me, I was like pinching myself. I'm like, this is bizarre world, right? But Snake, every day, I bet I get a text every day, at least, race week. I got another one this morning. How's the weather? What's the humidity? Like, he wants me to go out and ask the crew chief what's going on. He's very, very involved. And I told him last year, I said, the sport would love to have you out here. If you want to come out and just hang out, and he's like, you know what? I would love to, but I would get spun up like I used to when the car smokes the tires or it puts a hole out. I'd be up in the crew chief yelling at him like the old days, and that's the way he is. He's so intense, he can't turn that off.
Ron, I think it was, we'll end it with this. I think it was you I quoted on one of our shows, and it might have been Indy. You said this. You said, this is all great, but we miss John Force.
Yeah.
You said that somewhere.
It was live on Fox before the final round.
Yes.
They were interviewing Snake and I in the pit area.
And it wasn't lost on me. I brought it up on the show that night. I said, wow, Ron hit me with a sledgehammer with that. We're celebrating this, doing that, but you're right. We miss John Force. And as a driver, it's the epitome of the NHRA, where I imagine you hop out of your hauler every now and then going, well, hell, John would typically be walking around here hammering me for something.
Well, yeah, he would always come up to me on a scooter on Fridays before qualifying. And I tell people all this time, it cracks me up, because he'll ride up on a scooter on Friday afternoon, and I'll roll the window down. He's all, Capsy, ain't this the coolest shit? We're driving funny cars for a living. And he'd have that grin like a 12-year-old, and off he'd ride on a scooter. And then he'd come back around again, because he always does that. We'd go 3, 2, 1, and he comes right back up, and he'd say something else. But that's the energy he has. He's like a 12-year-old when he's out here. So, yeah, we miss. Yeah, it's weird for me. That's a dude that I would talk to weekly between races, and he'd leave these bizarro messages on my voicemail and, rambling on and on. So, yeah, I do miss that, yeah.
This freaking segment is brought to you by our friends at Lucas Oil. Now, what automobile do you have in the garage? I bet Lucas Oil could keep that thing fat and happy and on the road. From everyday car care, heavy-duty trucking to agriculture, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, and marine, Lucas Oil has what you need to keep those engines, interiors, and exteriors looking like and running like they're supposed to be. For more information, go to the website, lucasoil.com, and find the perfect Lucas Oil product. Keep your rides on the road. Now through the end of October, buy 4 qualifying SUV or light truck tires and get up to $100 back with a Visa prepaid card. Need more information? Go to the website, generaltire.com. That's generaltire.com. General Tire, the official tire for Speed Freaks for the last 2 decades.
Rev up your passion for speed. Mav TV Go is the ultimate streaming app for race fans. Enjoy exclusive racing, live events, groundbreaking originals, and a lot more. Anytime, anywhere, for free. Whether you're a diehard or just getting started, Mav TV Go has something for everyone. Mav TV Go, your global home of motorsports, now on the go. Download the app now.
Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming. Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Go to www.raceway.com.
Looking for power to spare? Count on an FVP battery. FVP. Verified, proven.